Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and since I started this little series to where I'm rebuilding my bench press strength, I've had people jump in and say, "Oh my God, Jason, your benching frequency is way too high. That's not going to work. You're going to overtrain. You're going to hurt yourself." And the thing that people need to keep in mind, I've only benched 6 times in 2 weeks on camera, and the thing that people need to remember when it comes to balancing frequency on the bench press, keep in mind I am prioritizing right now, meaning I'm not doing a lot of volume on my other lifts. Yeah, I'm front squatting. Yeah, I did 5 or 6 sets of deficit deadlifts the other day on camera, but I haven't deadlifted again in a week. 5 or 6 sets of deficit deadlifts with moderate weight, a couple sets of front squats. I've front squatted again since then. But front squatting twice a week, deadlifting once a week, doing rows and chin ups, doing chin ups a few days a week. I'm not doing a lot of other lifts. I'm doing just maintenance lifts, strength maintenance on my other exercise, muscle maintenance on the others because I am slow cutting right now, and I'm doing a ton of cardio. But the fact of the matter is, I'm on a bench priority program, and that's the thing that people need to remember. When you are prioritizing a given lift or given body part or whatever it is that you're doing, and you're backing down a little bit and managing your overall fatigue on everything else, it's actually a lot easier to recover from. And that's one of the things that people need to remember is you become more advanced as a lifter. All right, as you become more advanced as a lifter, you may find that you're going to completely stall in certain areas unless you spend some time specializing in them. Now, and I don't mean silly bodybuilder split of, oh, well, you need a whole day dedicated. That's not how you specialize. Because if you have a whole day dedicated to your back and a whole day dedicated to your legs, a whole day dedicated to your arms, you're not specializing in anything. You're still working everything evenly. Right? That's not specialization. Specialization means a heavier focus on something. When you specialize, it could be as simple as spending multiple days focusing on something and you don't spend multiple days focusing on anything else. Meaning I'm benching 3 days a week. I'm not doing any other lift 3 days a week other than chin-ups. And those are just with body weight and they're not to failure. Chin-ups I do chin-ups all the time, so I'm used to doing lots of chin-ups at home. They're not really a big deal. But when you specialize, that's what you do. You dedicate more days, more minutes, more hours to doing something. In fact, specialization can often be like when I was specializing in getting good on the overhead press again to build my shoulder girdle up and get good at standing presses, or at least decent, because there's still a weakness for me. I don't think my strength is balanced there. But by doing that, I did them first in every workout. Okay, doing an exercise first in a workout when it's outside of what a normal pattern should be, that's specialization. All right, if your biceps are a problem and you do chin-ups and curls before you squat or deadlift in a workout, that's bicep specialization. All right, if you come in and you bench first every time before you do bigger exercises, that's bench specialization. Or in my case, I'm benching 3 days a week. All right, and I only have a couple other days where I'm coming in doing other exercises. So I'm in the gym about 5 days a week, but 3/5 of that is the bench press. Now, the other thing to factor in when you're specializing like this, I'm not taking anything to failure. So people are like, yeah, you're doing a fair amount of tonnage though. You're coming in, you're doing 7 sets of 3 plus warm-ups, and some of those warm-ups are moderately heavy. So, well, yeah, but the point is, it's a decent amount of tonnage on the bench, especially considering it's all pause, considering it's all close grip. Yeah, it's a decent amount of volume, especially the weekly volume, but doing it 3 days a week. But none of it's to failure. Nothing's being grinders. If you guys notice, I don't grind anything. These are all clean reps. Even my 7th set on the workouts, or 6th set, they're all clean, they're all fast, nothing's grindy. There's no form breakdown. That affects recovery, and you need to remember that with all of this. Bad reps mean that you're overtaxing yourself, meaning you're breaking out of your groove, you're having to push your nervous system, it's not able to handle what you're trying to do, and form breaks down. Or you grind. When you grind, your peripheral nervous system is getting fatigued, meaning if you have a really slow rep, like it takes you 3 seconds, 4 seconds to do that rep, that's grinding. All right, if you're shaking all the way up, that's grinding, guys. That means your nervous system is fatigued. I'm not training to nervous system fatigue. I'm stimulating. And that's kind of the key to specialization too. When you're specializing in something, again, it doesn't matter whether it's a lift or a body part. Is there really a difference? I mean, maybe, but not really. It's the same idea. Because we could call bench specialization chest and tricep specialization. There's no difference in terms of recovery. So when you're specializing in something, the worst thing you could do is do anything that hurts the recovery, because when you're specializing, you need to be doing it very frequently. Anything you want to get really good at, whether it's to grow your biceps or improve your squat or your bench press, if it's a priority for you, you need to be doing it very frequently, more frequently than everything else. Well, if you do something that impedes your recovery and ability to do it frequently, what happens? You can't do it as frequently. Your progress is going to slow down. That's not ideal. That's not what we want at all. We need to be always focusing on how can we continue to progress, get the workload in that we need, and do it again sooner. And so the whole point here is that, yeah, I'm doing a lot of technique work, a lot of speed work. It's all fast. But it's not as taxing because I'm not grinding stuff out. I'm not hitting a lot of metabolic fatigue. There's some there. In fact, even my chest seems to be growing. I think my triceps are even growing again, but my pecs have grown. Brittany noticed that last night. She's like, your chest has gotten bigger than it was a couple weeks ago. She's like, your upper chest, like there's a whole shelf kind of building up there that wasn't there a couple weeks ago. So yeah, it's growing from it despite the cutting. But, so there's definitely some metabolic fatigue happening, but the thing is, it's not so much and I can't recover and come back and do it in a couple days. And people need to remember too, that first week of the specialization was what? 3 days in a row, but that was week 1. We went to week 2 and I started spacing them out. I've benched 3 times this week on non-consecutive days. And one of those days I took completely off between. I didn't go to the gym. I didn't lift. I did pure cardio between one of those days. So yeah, I'm specializing here, but I'm giving myself adequate recovery. And it's because I'm not taxing everything so hard that I can't come in and replicate it in 48 hours. That's why it's a gradual buildup. That's why I'm like, okay, this week I'm going to do 7 sets, and I'm going to do this like 3 times before I go to 8 sets, giving my body time to adapt. And like the second time of doing the 7 sets, it was easier than the first time. Like that 7th set, I knew when I racked it, I could have come in and done another set. There's no doubt in my mind I could have come in and done an 8th set. But I didn't. Why? Because if I do that 8th set or the 9th set, I might have to space it out further. I might have to wait like 4 days before I can bench again. I don't want to do that. I need to be benching every 2 to 3 days. So it's about leaving sets in the tank. It's about not just leaving reps in the tank. I'm leaving sets in the tank. So much so that as it builds the strength back up, when I get to being able to do 7 sets or 10 sets of 3 with this weight, it's actually going to be easy. And that's the whole idea, because none of this is taken to the extreme. I mean, look at this, all pretty paused reps, all right? None of this is grinding. Other than, well, when I hit that upright. But that's the idea, guys. It's the idea. It's not grinding. I'm staying within my recovery parameters. And you know what? If I come in one of these days and that first set is slow, all right, if it's slow, we know that I haven't recovered. And that's the thing. And this should be the identifier. You guys can use this in your own training. Yes, I'm doing high frequency benching right now. But what happens when you guys see me come in 48 hours later? Does it look like I'm overtraining? Look how fast the bar speed is. I'm having fast bar speed from a dead stop perfect form. I'm not even close to overtraining. Because if my nervous system, peripheral nervous system wasn't recovering, the bar speed slows down. All right, guys, that's the stuff that you need to learn to watch for when you're going to auto-regulate your own training, particularly with anything with high frequency, high volume like this. Watch for the signs: bar speed, unusual DOMs, cramping. All right, these are your signs that, okay, I've gone too far, I need to back it down a notch. But we're not seeing any of that. Now, when we start seeing some of that, what's the solution? We don't want to back the volume down. The solution would be to cut it down to 2 days a week. All right, so if I start seeing those problems, I'll cut down to benching twice a week. And you know what? That will resolve it, because you'll have more recovery time. So trust me, guys, I know what I'm doing on this, and this is stuff that I can teach all of you, so that all of you can learn to do this sort of stuff also, so that you can specialize and correct your own weak points and things that you want to work on or focus on for a little while. This is how you do it right. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.